It's better that you learn this sooner rather than later, she said gently. She moved toward the door, then paused. Mom's birthday dinner is next week. I hope you'll come. Everyone would love to see you. After she left, Hae-jin sat quietly in her apartment. In the peaceful silence, she realized something important. She felt ready to move forward. The heaviness she had been carrying was gone, replaced by a calm sense of clarity. She felt steady, grounded, and quietly determined to take good care of herself from now on. She returned to work the next day. At the bookstore, her manager, Mrs. Lee, a warm, kind older woman, noticed her right away. Without asking questions, Mrs. Lee gently assigned her lighter tasks and encouraged her to take short breaks. Hae-jin appreciated the thoughtfulness and focused on her work with renewed energy, organizing shelves, helping customers, and enjoying the familiar rhythm of the store. As she restocked the business section, she heard Mrs. Lee speaking politely to someone near the front counter. Of course, sir. Right this way. We have a wonderful selection of business books. Is there something specific you're looking for? Hae-jin continued arranging books, carefully aligning them on the shelf. She enjoyed bringing order to the space. It helped her feel calm and present. Actually, a composed voice said, I'm hoping to speak with someone who works here. Perhaps you could assist me. Hae-jin paused and turned around. Standing near the counter was Kang Min-jae, dressed neatly in a modern suit, his expression calm and professional. He carried himself with quiet confidence, polite and composed. His eyes moved thoughtfully around the bookstore before meeting hers, and recognition appeared gently on his face. Mrs. Lee looked between them with curiosity. Hae-jin, do you know this gentleman? Yes. Hae-jin replied softly. We've met before. That's good to hear, Min-jae said with a courteous smile. I was hoping to speak with you about a possible opportunity. If it's convenient, perhaps we could talk briefly next door. Mrs. Lee nodded warmly. Of course. Take your time. The cafe next door was peaceful in the afternoon light, with a few students studying and a couple enjoying tea together. Min-jae chose a quiet table near the back, open and comfortable. They sat across from each other, the atmosphere calm and respectful. Hae-jin folded her hands neatly in her lap, taking a steady breath, ready to listen. Up close, she can see the details she missed that drunken night, the slight scar above his left eyebrow, the way his jaw muscles tighten when he's containing emotion, the cold intelligence in his eyes that suggests he's already planned this conversation 6 different ways. For a long moment, he just looks at her, studies her like she's a puzzle he's solving, a problem he's breaking down into component parts. Finally, he speaks. Seo Hae-jin, 25 years old, works at Miracle Books for minimum wage. Lives alone in Sin-dang-dong.no criminal record. 1 sister, parents still living. Recently ended a relationship with Park Ji-hoon of the Park Electronics family. He pauses, and his next words land like blows. You had a busy Valentine's Day. Hae-jin's face burns. He's investigated her, dug into her life, knows things she didn't tell him, knows the context of her worst night. How did you find me? Does it matter? Min-jae leans back, perfectly composed. Hotel security footage, facial recognition software. Some very expensive private investigators who earn their keep. You weren't as untraceable as you thought. What do you want? What do I want? His voice drops to something dangerous. I want to understand. I want to know what game you're playing. Who sent you? What the angle is. Because I don't believe in coincidence, Miss Seo. I don't believe that you just happened to be in that hotel. Just happened to approach me. Just happened to take advantage when I was compromised. No one sent me, Hae-jin says, and for the first time in a week, she feels anger instead of shame. I was drunk, heartbroken, making terrible decisions. There's no conspiracy, just bad timing and worse judgment. You expect me to believe that? Min-jae's laugh is cold. That you randomly decided to rob a stranger and leave a note calling him a whore for payment? The word makes her flinch. Hearing it said aloud, hearing what she did reduced to its ugly truth, makes her want to dissolve into the cafe floor. I know what I did was unforgivable, she says quietly. I know I can't take it back, but it wasn't planned. It was just the worst version of myself making the worst possible choices on the worst night of my life. Something flickers in his expression. Not quite belief, but maybe the beginning of doubt. The money, he says. Where is it? At my apartment. Untouched. I'll give it back right now if you want. I don't want the money. His voice is sharp, impatient. I want answers. I want to know why a nobody bookstore clerk with a broken heart thought she could treat me like a transaction and walk away unscathed. The words hit like slaps, each one designed to remind her of her place, of the vast gulf between their worlds. But something in Hae-jin has changed. That night, that awful morning, broke something inside her, but maybe it broke the parts that needed breaking. The parts that accepted being small. You want answers? She leans forward, meeting his cold gaze directly. Fine. Here's your answer. I found my boyfriend in bed with my sister on Valentine's Day. The two people I trusted most in the world betrayed me in the cruelest way possible. So I got drunk. Really drunk. And I saw you at the hotel. Clearly in trouble, clearly drugged, and some damaged, reckless part of me thought, why should I be the only one getting used tonight? Why should I be the only one left empty-handed? She's shaking now, the words pouring out like poison she needs to expel. So I took you upstairs. And yes, we slept together. And yes, I took your money and left that note because I wanted someone, anyone, to feel as small and used as I felt. I wanted to hurt someone the way I'd been hurt. Does that make me a terrible person? Absolutely. Does it mean I'm part of some elaborate conspiracy against you? No. It just means I'm human and broken and capable of doing ugly things when I'm in pain. The silence that follows is crushing. Min-jae stares at her, his expression unreadable, processing. She can see his mind working, that brilliant, calculating mind weighing her words, searching for lies, finding only messy, uncomfortable truth. Your boyfriend, he finally says. Park Ji-hoon, and your sister. On Valentine's Day, yes. And you dealt with that by getting drunk and propositioning a stranger. Yes. And robbing him. Yes. Hae-jin meets his eyes. I'm not proud of any of it, but I'm not going to lie about it either. Not anymore. Another silence. Then, unexpectedly, something that might be respect flickers across Min-jae's features. You could have made up a story, played innocent, tried to manipulate me. Most people would have. I'm done with lies. Hae-jin says tiredly. I spent 2 years believing a lie. I'm not going to live one. Min-jae drums his fingers on the table, a rare gesture of indecision from someone who usually moves through the world with absolute certainty. I believe you, he finally says, and sounds surprised by his own admission. Which creates a problem. What problem? I spent a week tracking you down. Considerable resources, even more considerable amounts of my time and attention. All because I was convinced you were part of some elaborate scheme against me. He leans forward. Now I find out you're just collateral damage from someone else's cruelty. Which means I wasted a week. And I don't waste time, Miss Seo. Ever. I'm sorry. Hae-jin doesn't know what response he wants. Don't be sorry, be useful. Min-jae pulls out a business card, places it on the table between them. I'm offering you a job, personal assistant. The pay is 10 times what you make at that bookstore. The work will be demanding. The hours will be terrible. But you'll be compensated appropriately. Hae-jin stares at the card like it might be a trap. Because it definitely is a trap. Why would you offer me a job? I stole from you. Humiliated you. Exactly. His smile is sharp. Consider it restitution. You took something from me, my dignity. My control over that night. Now you'll work for me until I decide the debt is paid. Think of it as a very civilized form of revenge. That's insane. That's the offer. Take it or leave it. He stands, buttoning his suit jacket with precise movements. But I should warn you, if you refuse, I can make your life very difficult. One phone call to your employer. One word to your landlord. One mention of theft to the right people. Your choice, Miss Seo. Work for me, or spend the next year unemployed and possibly facing criminal charges. The threat is delivered casually, almost bored, which somehow makes it more terrifying. This is what power looks like. Hae-jin realizes. Not violence or shouting, just calm. Clinical certainty that he can destroy her life without raising his voice or breaking a sweat. But here's the thing that surprises both of them. Instead of fear, Hae-jin feels something else, curiosity. Because buried in his offer, underneath the threat and the power play, is something that doesn't quite fit. If he really just wanted revenge, he could destroy her and be done with it. Why offer employment instead? Why keep her close? Unless, and this is a thought that makes her pulse quicken, unless he's as confused by that night as she is. Unless he wants answers to questions he hasn't figured out how to ask yet. One condition, Hae-jin hears herself say, and is amazed by the steadiness in her voice. I work for you. I pay back what I took. I accept this as consequences for my actions. But you don't get to throw that knight in my face every time I make a mistake. You don't get to use it as ammunition. We're both trying to move past it. Agreed? Min Jae's eyebrows rise slightly. He's surprised. People don't negotiate with him. They certainly don't set conditions. Bold, he says. Stupid, but bold. Fine. Agreed. He extends his hand. Report to Kang Industries tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. Don't be late. Hae-jin shakes his hand, feeling like she's just signed a deal with the devil. His grip is firm, controlled, and the brief contact sends an unwanted jolt of recognition through her muscle memory from that night, from the vulnerability she glimpsed underneath his cold perfection. She pulls back quickly. After he leaves, she sits alone in the cafe, staring at his business card, wondering what the hell she's just agreed to. Mrs. Lee will be heartbroken to lose her. Her mother will be confused. Her sister will probably find some way to make it about herself. What matters is that Seo Hae-jin, the girl who got cheated on and broke apart, who made terrible choices and ran away, has just been given an unexpected chance. Not for redemption exactly, more like evolution. A chance to see if the person she's becoming is stronger than the person she was. The next morning, Hae-jin stands in front of Kang Industries headquarters, a tower of glass and steel that seems designed to make ordinary people feel insignificant. She's wearing the best outfit. She owns a simple black suit from a discount store that she knows looks cheap next to the designer clothing flowing past her into the building. But she walks in anyway, head high, shoulders back, pretending a confidence she absolutely doesn't feel. The receptionist eyes her with barely concealed disdain until she mentions Min Jae's name, at which point the attitude shifts instantly to professional courtesy tinged with curiosity. Everyone in this building wants to know who the CEO's new personal assistant is and why he hired her without going through normal channels. Hae-jin can feel their eyes on her as she's escorted to the top floor, can hear the whispers starting already. Min Jae's office is exactly what she expected: minimalist, expensive, with floor-to-ceiling windows offering a view of Seoul that makes it clear just how high above everyone else he operates. He's standing at those windows when she arrives, his back to her, phone pressed to his ear, speaking rapid-fire Mandarin to someone who clearly isn't meeting his expectations. His assistant, his previous assistant, she realizes a polished woman in her 40s, briefs Hae-jin quickly and efficiently. He takes his coffee black, no sugar. Never disturb him during conference calls unless the building is literally on fire. He has a lunch meeting every Wednesday with his grandfather. Never, under any circumstances, be late for those. He works until midnight most nights. He expects the same from you. Questions? About 1,000, Hae-jin thinks. But she says, no thank you. The assistant looks at her with something between pity and respect. Good luck, she says, and it sounds like a warning. Min Jae ends his call and finally acknowledges Hae-jin's presence. You're on time. Good. Here's how this works. He hands her a tablet loaded with his schedule, his contacts, his entire digital life. You manage my calendar, coordinate with department heads, handle logistics for meetings, screen calls, basically ensure that my time is used as efficiently as possible. You'll learn quickly or you'll fail. I have no patience for incompetence. Understood, Hae-jin says, looking at the schedule and feeling immediate overwhelm. He has 17 meetings today. 17. How is that even possible? One more thing. Min Jae's voice stops her as she's about to leave. We don't discuss that night. Not with each other. Not with anyone in this building. As far as everyone here is concerned, you're a promising new hire who came highly recommended. The past stays in the past. Clear? Crystal? Hae-jin agrees, relieved. At least they're on the same page about that. But as she settles into the desk outside his office, Diving into the overwhelming complexity of managing Kang Min-jae's life, she realizes that ignoring the past is much easier said than done. Because every time she enters his office, every time their eyes meet accidentally, every time he passes her desk and she catches his scent expensive cologne and something uniquely him, the memories flood back. The vulnerability, the heat, the way he looked at her in those drug-hazed moments when his control slipped and something raw and human showed through. And worst of all, she starts to notice things about him that complicate the simple narrative of cold, heartless CEO. The way he stays late personally reviewing contracts to ensure his employees aren't being exploited by partners. The quiet donations to children's hospitals that he never publicizes. The fact that he remembers his secretary's daughter's birthday and sends flowers. The moments when his mask slips and she sees bone-deep exhaustion underneath the perfection. Kang Min-jae, she's beginning to realize, is not what he seems. And that terrifies her more than his threats ever could. 3 weeks into her new job, the rhythm of their working relationship has settled into something functional but tense. Min-jae is demanding but fair, never asking her to do anything unethical, never crossing professional boundaries. But there's an undercurrent to every interaction, awareness that hums between them like a live wire neither wants to touch. They're hyper-aware of each other in ways that go beyond professional. She knows when his jaw tightens he's holding back anger. He knows when she bites her lip she's overwhelmed but trying to hide it. It's during a late-night work session, both of them still in the office at 10 p.m. preparing for a crucial presentation, that the carefully maintained distance finally cracks. This analysis is incomplete, Min-jae says, marking up her document with sharp red annotations. You're missing the comparison to third-quarter projections. Did you even read the full brief? Hae-jin, running on 4 hours of sleep and too much coffee, feels something snap. Yes, I read the brief, all 60 pages of it, along with the 14 other documents you gave me today. I'm doing my best with impossible deadlines and your best isn't good enough. His voice is cold, dismissive. If you can't handle the work, there are thousands of people who can. And just like that, all the progress she's made, all the strength she's built, threatens to crumble. Because she's heard those words before, different versions of them. From Ji-hoon, who told her she wasn't suitable for his world. From her sister who said she didn't belong. She spent her whole life not being enough. And here's one more powerful man telling her the same thing. You know what? Hae-jin stands, her hands shaking but her voice steady. Fire me then, because I'm tired of this. I'm tired of being treated like I'm fundamentally insufficient. I made a mistake that night, a terrible mistake. But I'm a human being, not a punching bag for your control issues. Min-jae looks up, startled. No one talks to him like this. No one dares. Excuse me. You heard me. The words pour out. 3 weeks of suppressed frustration and confusion breaking free. You offered me this job as punishment, as some kind of twisted revenge. Fine. I accepted because I needed to make things right. But I won't stand here and let you tear me down because you're still angry about one night. Either I'm your employee and you treat me with basic respect, or I walk right now and you can do whatever you threaten to do. Report me. Blacklist me. I don't care anymore. Some things are worse than unemployment. The silence that follows is absolute. Min-jae stares at her like she's just revealed herself to be an entirely different species, something he didn't anticipate and doesn't know how to process. And then, incredibly, he does something she's never seen him do in 3 weeks. He smiles, not the cold, professional smile he shows clients. A real smile, slight and surprised and almost impressed. Sit down, he says, his voice different now, missing the ice. You're right. I've been unfair. That presentation analysis was genuinely incomplete, but my delivery was unnecessarily harsh. He runs a hand through his hair, and the gesture is so unguarded, so unlike his usual rigid control, that Hae-jin finds herself sitting back down without deciding to. I don't actually want to fire you. You're the best assistant I've had in years. You anticipate needs before I voice them. You manage chaos with remarkable efficiency. You're wasted in that bookstore. Hae-jin doesn't trust this sudden shift. Then why do you treat me like I'm constantly failing? Min Jae is quiet for a long moment. When he speaks, it's with a vulnerability that costs him. Because you terrify me, What? That night. He won't look at her now, his gaze fixed on the Seoul skyline beyond the windows. I've spent my entire adult life in control of my company, my emotions, my image, everything. And in one night, you stripped all of that away. You saw me at my most vulnerable, you saw me helpless. And instead of being impressed or intimidated or any of the usual reactions people have to me, you took money and left a note and treated me like I was nothing special. He finally meets her eyes. Do you have any idea how destabilizing that is? How much power that gives you? Hae-jin's breath catches. This is not what she expected. Not even close. I don't want power over you. I just want to do my job and move forward. Can we? Min Jae asks, and the question is layered with meaning. Move forward? Or are we always going to be two people trapped in the worst night of our respective lives? It's the most honest he's been since that morning. And Hae-jin realizes she has a choice here. She can hold on to the shame and the anger and the complicated hurt. Or she can choose something different. Something that might be healing. We can move forward, she says slowly, but it requires honesty. Not the polite, professional kind. The real kind. Where we admit that night happened and it affected us both and pretending it didn't is making everything harder. Agreed. Min Jae leans back in his chair, some of the tension leaving his shoulders. Then let me be honest. I tracked you down because I was humiliated and angry. I offered you this job because I wanted to control the narrative, to feel powerful again after feeling powerless. But working with you these past 3 weeks, watching you handle impossible situations with grace, watching you stand up to me just now. He pauses. You're not who I thought you were that morning. And I'm beginning to think I wasn't who you thought I was either. Who are we then? Hae-jin asks, and the question hangs between them, huge and terrifying and full of possibility. Before Min Jae can answer, his phone buzzes. He glances at it and his expression shudders closed again, walls slamming back into place. My grandfather. We're having dinner tomorrow night. You'll accompany me. That's a family dinner. Why would I? Because he wants to meet the assistant I hired without consulting him, because he suspects something. And because if we're going to work together, you need to understand exactly what kind of world I come from. Min Jae stands, gathering his things. Go home. Get some rest. Tomorrow's going to be difficult. As Hae-jin leaves the building, stepping out into Seoul's neon-lit night, she realizes that everything has shifted. The job that started as punishment is becoming something else. The man she thought was simply cold and heartless is revealing depths she didn't anticipate. And the question that will drive everything forward is this. When two broken people start seeing each other as human instead of symbols, what happens? Can a relationship built on humiliation and revenge become something real? Or are they just two damaged souls mistaking proximity for connection, destined to hurt each other in new and devastating ways? And perhaps most terrifying of all, what happens when the outside world, the cruel sister and the bitter ex-boyfriend and the cutthroat business rivals, discover that the impenetrable Kang Min Jae might actually care about the nobody assistant he's been keeping so close?